Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello, I'm Beaumont and welcome to another episode of Build My Brand. We're speaking with Debbie O'Connor, who's our resident branding expert, and we've been going through a whole entire series that covers every single aspect of building a great brand for your business. This particular episode is all about how to create or find on-brand images. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to be going through a whole bunch of different things from stock libraries. We'll talk about mood boards as well. We'll talk about uniforms and how you can present yourself and your business and your brand in the best possible way. All right, Debbie, welcome back.
Thank you, Dale.
So let's quickly remind everyone, what is a brand and why is it so important? And then we'll talk about where this special episode fits into the overall picture.
So your brand is your reputation. It's your business reputation. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room. So it is a very powerful part of your business that a lot of people don't think is very important, but it is actually critical.
And we've spoken about how brands kind of work on two levels, the conscious level, but also the unconscious level as well. That some people just get a feeling about a certain brand because of what they put out there, the images that they use, the type of way that they dress, which is what we're going to be talking about as well. Do you believe that brands are both a conscious and subconscious thing?
Oh, they absolutely are. And there is a lot of work that you can do behind the scenes that will subconsciously lead people to your brand. Things like we've already spoken about brand personality. If you develop a brand that has personality, it means that people with similar traits, similar personalities, similar connections are going to then go, right, I want to do business with that particular brand because I feel a connection with them on a personal level.
So let's do a quick summary. We've spoken about brand strategy, brand personality. We've spoken about also the visual aspects of your brand, logos, colors, fonts, even taglines as well.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about images. So where does this fit into the overall picture?
So your images are really vital, especially in today's age where we have so much data thrown at us and we have so much visual stimulation. So whether it is, even on our phones with websites and apps, and social media.
Instagram and Pinterest and
That's
Facebook.
it.
They really are visual mediums.
Very much so. And they are very strongly image-based. So you do need to get your images right and really have them focused on brand to make sure that you're sending out a consistent message.
Because there's no point saying something and even writing your tagline, but then the images are completely different and don't actually say what you actually really want to get across.
That's right. And I was actually following someone's Instagram when we're talking about Instagram, following someone's posts. And after a while, I actually unfollowed them because there wasn't any consistency. One minute they were using stock images. The next minute they were using images that they'd taken within their office. The next minute they were using clip art. Their fonts were all over the place. It wasn't engaging, it wasn't stimulating, and it really looked like a bit of a mess, really.
Okay, so let's talk about these images now. When we're talking about finding on-brand images, what does that mean? What is an on-brand image?
Okay, I think this is where we go back to the strategy. And we have to have a look at what the personality of the brand is. We go back to the logo, the colors, the fonts, the whole feeling and essence of the brand. And I've got a couple of examples actually. So we've got Nike, who is the warrior brand, and they're the hero brand personality. And here you can see the imagery. It is very emotive. It's strong. It's competitive.
It's almost like going into battle.
That's it, absolutely. And so this particular image really does strike up all the traits that are wrapped up in the Nike brand. So the other fitness example I have, this is Lululemon. Now, Lululemon is based more on yoga and the whole healthy lifestyle meditation. So the image is a lot quieter, still very strong, very powerful. Not many people can do that, I might add. But the reality is that the whole image, the setting, everything is a lot quieter and a lot calmer.
And what brand personality is it on display here?
So Lululemon is actually the magician brand. It's all about transformation, a catalyst for change, being quite visionary as well. So their whole, and when you look at some of their other imagery, it is very visionary and dreamlike.
So you're saying if Lululemon used this as an image, that would be completely off-brand?
That's exactly right.
People would be confused. They would be like,
yeah.
I thought you were one thing and now you're trying to tell me you're another thing?
That's okay. Exactly right. So people would look at this and go, I don't get it. I don't understand how that's Lululemon. It's too powerful. It's too strong. It's too energetic. Likewise, if the other image was used for Nike, it's not strong enough. It's not powerful enough. So you can see how the two different images, they're both in the fitness industry, but they have very different ways of presenting their products to the customer.
Okay, so when we are talking about images, we're not just talking about going to Google, right, and typing in fitness images and just finding all of the ones there that are available. It's much different than that, right?
It is. You have to be very careful with Google. Google is a great place to get a lot of sources of information and inspiration, but it's not the place to go to simply rip off images. And the reason being is because a lot of those images are copyright protected. So it means that if you then go and use one of those images, you further down the track could be sued, and you just don't want to go down that avenue. Added to that, it's not very unique to your business if you're using somebody else's imagery.
And sometimes the quality's kind of not very sharp as well, or dimensions might be wrong, so you're really much better off. We're going to be talking about two things: either creating your own images, and we'll talk about how to do that, or actually sourcing them through a stock library. And they're the two sort of main ways that you can go. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct. And just moving back to the whole Google side of things, when you talked about the quality of the images, that is critical, because what might look good on screen really doesn't translate to print at all. So you have to be very careful as to the quality of the images that you're using. So Google definitely is a no-no.
Now let's talk about quickly stock libraries for a moment, and there's ones that people might be familiar with, like for example iStock Photo or Shutterstock or things like that. So what are these stock libraries, and what are the pros and cons of using one?
Yeah, look, stock libraries have a very important role to play. They offer a place for photographers to be able to sell their photography. They are usually, some of them are very license driven, so you get given a certain amount of license to use those photos and you pay for that. So stock photos can get quite expensive. There are cheaper options out there, absolutely. So you've mentioned iStock Photo, Shutterstock, there's ThinkStock. Getty Images is the expensive option. Dreamtime, there are a lot of different places that you can purchase your photography. Now, you need to decide what it is that you're actually wanting your photos for. And one of the challenges that you face is that everybody has access to all these photos. A lot of these photos are non-exclusive. Unless you're going to go through Getty Images and you pay a big royalty for those particular images and you get the whole copyright to use those images exclusively. But when you're looking at that kind of investment, you then need to weigh up, maybe it's cheaper to actually get a photographer to come and take your own photos. Right. So that's something to definitely think about.
And I believe you've got an example of people using stock photography across a range of different companies. Do you want to go through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you purchase your images from a stock library, you then have access to photos that everybody else has access to. And it does get a little bit embarrassing if you are using a model, for example, to now be the face of your brand. And in actual fact, she happens to be someone like Ariane, who is the most downloaded model on in all the stock libraries. So here she appears. You can see the different companies that are using here. So here she appears on Wing Social. She also appears on Hawaiian Airlines.
These are big brands as well.
These are big brands that are using her photo, and everyone has access to her photo. Team Viewer, she's pointing out their product for them. She's on KBC here as well on their website, and once again for Smead. So
and you could have shown hundreds more.
Oh,
right?
look, she is on so many things. She's on packaging. She's even been put on the front cover of a woman's magazine.
Wow.
So the reality is she is out there. She's done a dime a dozen, and the last thing you want to do is have your brand diluted by using an image that everybody else can use as well. So it does make it a little bit tricky. If you're wanting someone to be a spokesperson or a visual aspect of your brand, going down the stock library route is a little bit of a risk because other people can use that. In fact, your competitors can use that photo as well.
Let's talk for a moment, because I still see it and it just breaks my heart every time. Clip art. We're not in the 80s anymore, but there's a lot of businesses that still use them in their Word documents, and some people even on social media. What do you think about that?
Clip art kills me. It is meant for school, right? Not for business. Clip art really has its place, and it belongs in the children's realm. When it comes to grown-up businesses, definitely do not use it. It is one thing that will pull your business down. It looks tacky, it looks amateurish, and
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.